Here is a number I need you to remember. $1,533. That is what is left every month after a household earning $160,000 buys a $500,000 house. Stick with me. That number will change how you see everything. It is midnight. You are on Zillow. Every house that does not look condemned costs $500,000. Outdated kitchen, beige carpet, basement paneling from 1987, and the listing agent calls it a starter home. You do the math on your salary. Same answer every time. It is not you. The math is broken. Today we are going to find out who can actually afford a $500,000 house in 2026. Not who the bank approves, who can genuinely afford one without destroying their financial life. Chapter 1, the reality check. In dozens of US markets right now, $500,000 is not luxury. It is the floor. $500,000 gets you roughly 1,200 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a yard the size of a parking spot. The median US household income, $84,000 a year. That means average American families are being asked to spend 6 times their annual income on a house. One generation ago, the rule of thumb was 3 times. We doubled the standard without doubling wages. Everyone keeps saying you can do it. The mortgage broker says you are approved, your parents did it on less, TikTok says it is easy. But everyone is lying about what affordable actually means. Chapter 2, the down payment trap. 20% down on a $500,000 house is $100,000 in cash. The median American savings account holds about $8,000. You are not a little short, you are $92,000 short. Save 10% of $84,000 a year, which almost nobody does, and you hit $100,000 in 12 years, assuming prices stay flat. They will not. So most people put down 5 or 10% instead. That unlocks PMI, private mortgage insurance, a monthly penalty of $200 to $400 that protects the bank, not you. You have not even moved in, and you are already being charged for not being wealthy enough. Chapter 3, the real monthly bill. 10% down means a $400,000 loan. At 6 to 7% interest, your monthly payment is about $2,800, principal and interest only. Here is what people forget. Property taxes, roughly $500 a month, homeowners insurance, $300 a month, maintenance, $417 a month, PMI, $300 a month, total $4,367 every single month. Nothing broken, no roof, no HOA surprise. Chapter 4, the income you actually need. Financial advisors say housing should not exceed 28% of your gross income. Banks approve up to 43%. Let us reverse engineer both. At 28%, you need $187,000 a year. At 43%, you still need $150,000. Here is the punchline. Only 10 to 20% of US households earn $150,000 or more. That means 80% of American households cannot comfortably afford a $500,000 house. Under any standard a real financial advisor would sign off on. This is not an opinion. This is arithmetic being cruel. Chapter 5, the case study. Meet the Johnsons, 2 professionals, combined income of $160,000, well above median, solidly upper middle class. After taxes, FICA, and a 401k contribution, they take home $9,500 per month. Subtract housing, $5,133 left. Car payments, $800. Insurance, $250. Gas, $300. Student loans, $600. Health insurance, $400. Groceries, $800. Utilities, $450. Remaining, $1,533. That is the number from the start. There it is. No clothing, no kids' activities, no emergency fund, no real retirement savings. 46% of take-home pay. gone to the house. Not 28, not 35, nearly half. These are not reckless people. They bought a normal house at market price. The market left them with almost nothing. Chapter 6. What house poor actually feels like. It feels like hesitating before adding something to your grocery cart. It feels like telling your kid not going to the $35 field trip because that money might be needed if the check engine light comes on. It feels like lying awake at 2 a.m, calculating whether you can afford new tires or gamble one more month and hope it does not rain. The HVAC dies. $5,000 you do not have. Fender bender, a $1,000 deductible on a credit card. Kid needs braces. Dental work on a payment plan. That is the reality at $160,000. Now picture $84,000, the actual median. At that income, a $500,000 house is not a stretch. It is a mathematical impossibility. Chapter 7. Why the system will not warn you. Not one person at that closing table profits when you make a cautious decision. Sellers price at $500,000 because comparable sales say so. Banks approve at 43% debt to income because the loan will not implode tomorrow. Agents push you to stretch because their commission rides on the closing price. The system gets you in. It does not care whether you can afford to stay. Once you sign, you are locked in. Walking away costs your credit score and your entire down payment. So people stay, working jobs they hate, watching savings drain, wondering why the American dream feels like a trap. Home prices are up 400% since 1990. Median income is up 180%. That gap is not closing. Chapter 8. The culture lie. Somewhere along the way, we turned financial stress into a personality trait. House poor? Welcome to home ownership. Cannot afford furniture? That is just the journey. Eating ramen? You are building equity. We have repackaged desperation as adulting. Struggling to afford basic home ownership is not a rite of passage. It is a symptom of a broken market. Your parents bought at 3 times their income. Yours costs 6 times yours. And renting is throwing money away? Being unable to afford your mortgage is also throwing money away, with worse consequences and no exit. Chapter 9. The honest decision. If your household earns less than $160,000 and a $500,000 house is on your radar, stop. The approval letter is a product the bank is selling you. Their risk tolerance and your ability to live your life are not the same calculation. Run every real number. Take-home pay, not gross. Taxes, PMI, insurance, maintenance. If the math does not hold, walk away. That is not failure. That is the only rational move. Your options. 1. Rent and invest the difference. The S&P 500 averages around 8% annually. A $50,000 down payment invested for 10 years compounds into real wealth. 2. Target the $300,000 to $350,000 range in a market that makes sense for your income. 3. Wait. Markets correct. Incomes grow. Patience is a strategy. Real wealth is not a house you can barely afford. It is margin, the ability to absorb a surprise, invest consistently, and sleep at night. The market will keep pretending these prices are normal. Banks will keep approving loans that should not exist. Agents will keep telling you it is a great time to buy. Getting approved and being able to afford it are 2 completely different things. The bank's job is to issue loans. Your job is to protect your financial life. Sometimes the smartest move is recognizing when the game is rigged and choosing not to play.